Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murders of Tierney Yates and Mario Jackson. Both died on Sunday, May 6, 2007, after being shot in the 10,900 block of South Broadway in the Broadway-Manchester neighborhood of South LA, according to LA County coroner records. Jerron Michael McMichael was subsequently arrested and charged with the murders. The following is the evidence at trial. At the preliminary hearing, Sergeant Todd Behrens of the LAPD testified he responded to reports of a shooting in progress around 11 p.m. on May 5, 2007 at 109th Street in South Broadway in Los Angeles. When he arrived, he saw defendant McMichael about a city block from the Magic Wheels private club. Defendant had some blood on or about his hands. He wore glasses that appeared to be bent, and his shirt and pants were torn. Ms. Williams testified at the preliminary hearing. She stated she knew defendant, also known as Cricket, because at the time defendant was dating her cousin, Ms. Gaines. Ms. Williams was at the Magic Wheels Club on the evening of the shooting. She saw defendant on the back patio at Magic Wheels later on that night when it became dark. Defendant was engaged in a confrontation or an off and on verbal argument with victim Jackson, whom Ms. Williams knew as Snag. Minutes later, Ms. Williams was dancing inside the club when she heard 2 or 3 gunshots coming from the back patio. The music in the club stopped and everyone in the club was running trying to get out. Ms. Williams testified she saw Ms. Gaines coming into the club from the outside patio moments after the gunshots. Ms. Gaines was upset and emotional. Ms. Gaines told Ms. Williams that Cricket had shot Snag and Slim. Ms. Gaines also said that a person called Big Kill was trying to hand her a gun to throw in the trash can, and she didn't take the gun. Ms. Gaines told Ms. Williams that they threw the gun in the trash can. Ms. Williams didn't know Big Kill personally, but had seen him before. Ms. Williams entered the patio area and saw Snag laying on the ground and victim Yates, whom she knew as Slim, lying against the wall about 15 to 20 feet away. Ms. Williams also saw defendant at the scene, kicking Snag about 2 or 3 times, hard enough that the body was moving. Ms. Williams then saw defendant hop the gate. Ms. Williams did not see defendant with a gun on the night of the shooting. On cross-examination, defendant's counsel impeached Ms. Williams with her prior statements to police that a lot of people had brought guns to the club that night and they all left their guns in the kitchen, including a person by the name of Mark. Mr. Myers testified at the preliminary hearing that he had known defendant for over 10 years and considered him to be a very good friend. Myers was living in Las Vegas when he received a phone call from defendant the day after the shooting. Defendant told Myers that he got into it with a guy at the club named Big Snag. Defendant identified the club as a motorcycle club on Broadway and 108th. Defendant told Snag, quote, "If you touch me, I'm gonna kill you," but Snag grabbed defendant and bent his glasses up. Defendant told Myers he received a gun and aimed for Snag and started firing. Myers recalled defendant told him he received the gun from Big Kill. Myers knew Big Kill and defendant were both members of the Raymond Avenue Crips. Defendant told Myers that when he aimed the gun at Snag, Slim jumped in front of him and the gun went off and shot Slim in the chest. According to Myers, defendant said Snag tried to turn around and that's when he caught Snag on the side, shot him up in the side. Defendant stated that he had like 3 bullets in the gun. Defendant also said that after he shot Big Snag, he stomped on him and after that he left. LAPD Detective Michael Owens testified that according to the coroner's report, victim Jackson died from multiple gunshot wounds and victim Yates died from a gunshot wound to the chest. LAPD officer Roger Fontes testified as a gang expert familiar with the Raymond Avenue Crips. He believed defendant to be a member of the gang based on interview with officers who have arrested defendant where he self-admitted to being a member and a review of his tattoos on his person showing membership or allegiance to that gang. Defendant did not introduce any evidence at the preliminary hearing. In 2010, defendant McMichael was charged with 2 counts of murder for the shooting deaths of Mario Jackson, aka Snag, and Tierney Yates, aka Slim. The indictment alleged as to both counts that defendant committed the murders for the benefit of a criminal street gang, and that defendant personally discharged a firearm, causing great bodily injury and death. On July 7, 2010, pursuant to a negotiated plea, the trial court dismissed the murder counts and defendant pleaded no contest to 2 counts of voluntary manslaughter. Defendant further admitted the gun and gang enhancements. The court imposed a total prison sentence of 30 years and 4 months. Tierney Yates was 37 years old at the time of death. Mario Jackson was 45 years old at the time of death.